Hello, we're presenting Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated. My name is Bianca Whitehead.
I'm Jonathan Henniger.
I'm Jonathan Renner.
And I'm Kendra Northcay.
A little bit about the background of Coca-Cola. First Coca-Cola bottling company was actually started by J.B. Harrison in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1902. Before this, consumers had to travel to their local drugstores, soda fountains, to enjoy refreshing Coke. In these early days, production workers used manually operating machines to fill bottles, cork them by hand, and sold them from horse-drawn carriages. They primarily operate in the Southeast, but their corporate office is located in Charlotte, North Carolina. As of 2010, they are the nation's largest independent Coca-Cola bottler. They state their main purpose is to honor God in all they do. The company not only bottles Coca-Cola, but they also bottle other beverages such as milk, juice, and energy drinks. A little bit about the strategy. They feel we thought they were integrated because we feel that the company has an integrated strategy because they not only differentiate themselves, but they also keep the customer and price in mind while doing so. CCBC has differentiated themselves from their competitors by giving their customers exactly what they ask for. They have also maintained the lowest cost as possible for customers when they may be having a bad month. The company also states on their website that they feel they bring to life an integrated strategy.
So now we're going to move to our driving forces. Our first one, keeping up with consumer demand, is something that every company deals with. When Walmart and various retailers contact Coke Consolidated, for example, Coke must change packaging options and SKUs to meet the demand of their consumers. Our second one, the economy hugely affects profitability. If expendable income is low, consumers are less likely to purchase a beverage at the gas station if the cost of gas or other costs are cumbersome. Next, cost of resources is a no-brainer. I mean, when resources are expensive, the cost of production is going to be higher. And lastly, for a bottling company, concern for the environment is important. Consumers are environmentally conscious nowadays, so it's important to know if byproducts of production aren't harmful to the environment. Next is our key success factors. Our first one is brand recognition. Due to their history, Coke Consolidated, in our opinion, can coast off of Coca-Cola's globally recognized brand. Second is determination to put the customer first. Coke Consolidated's overall mission is to put their customer first. This mission has carried them for over 114 years. Third is bottling variety. Coke Consolidated not only bottles Coca-Cola, but they also bottle Monster, Dasani, Minute Maid, Milk, and Smart Water, just to name a few. Lastly, Coke Consolidated has gained strong relationships and contracts with their various retailers. Consolidated has partnered with Clemson University, Carowinds, West Virginia State University, and the Tennessee Titans, to name a few.
SWOT. As listed are the following: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Growth is recognized as a strength due to expanding into 76 distribution centers, becoming one of the largest distribution centers. For weaknesses, we do have lack of recruitment of millennials. This is a weakness because millennials have fresh and innovative ways to be created, but the company isn't offering what millennials want, such as compensation programs. Opportunities: create incentive programs would encourage millennials to be interested in the company. And then for threats, we do have that there are alternative job opportunities. Companies are offering better benefit packages that are desirable to millennials.
So next we're going to talk about the financial analysis. As you can see, Coca-Cola Consolidated has been very consistent in their numbers over the past 5 years. However, in 2015, their gross profit margin did drop to 39.06. However, NASDAQ states that this is only because of their growth and them acquiring new facilities. In the third quarter of 2016, NASDAQ did report that Coca-Cola Consolidated had an increase of 37.2% in their sales already for this year.
Our first concern is a lack of communication within the company. In the meetings with Coke Consolidated, we determined that they have a hard time communicating between firms due to their quick growth. When managers aren't on the same page, each firm will experience operational failures. Our second concern is the lack of consistency between each facility or distribution center. In our research, we found that productivity is not executed the same way in every center. It is imperative for Coke Consolidated to implement a plan to promote consistency, especially as growth rises and new distribution centers are open.
Our third concern is maintaining culture throughout the company. As Coca-Cola Consolidated is growing rather quickly, we are concerned that they're not going to be able to maintain their culture when acquiring new companies. Our main concern with this is that their mission statement is to glorify God in all that they do. So we are concerned that bringing in new people will be difficult for them to be able to do this. So for our next two concerns, we did conduct a survey of a total of 65 people to determine the next two that we have. These are some questions that we did, and 58 people said that incentive programs are important to them while considering a new job position. All 65 of them stated that they prefer working with clear structure and communication from their boss. And 43 people stated that they are looking at compensation packages whenever they're looking at new jobs. And then the other few of them are just comments from the bottom three. One that really stuck out to us is tuition reimbursement is important for a company to offer their employees. So this does show that even younger generations or older generations are very much looking into what the compensation package is for the company. And we are going to move on to the next two concerns that we found from this. Lack of desirable compensation package. This is extremely important to millennials, especially according to this survey, because they're no longer looking for just paid vacation or holidays. They're actually looking more into what else am I going to get? A large amount of college students are looking to have their schooling paid for them completely, whether it's graduate or undergraduate. And the next one is difficulty hiring and retaining millennials. Coca-Cola Consolidated actually told us directly that this was one of their concerns, but we do find it a very large concern since they have so many job postings out right now. While they do a great job of posting their jobs on job boards like Indeed, they do lack in catching the first glance of individuals looking for a job. The postings do not have enough information to catch someone's eye.
So our first recommendation is to search for a communication software, much like ePlan, a system used by American Eagle Outfitters Incorporated. ePlan works much like an email database system. Each supervisor is provided a username and password. Once logged in, you are able to view your monthly fiscal calendar at a glance. Highlighted notes are presented on days that are important. Also on the screen, there is a Projects tab. When hovered over with a mouse, subcategories appear labeled New Projects, Active Projects, and Completed Projects. New projects are unopened until someone interacts with them. Active projects remain open and available until someone prints out the ePlan and changes the status to completed. Finally, the completed projects are archived for later use. The beauty of ePlan is that every project has an expiration date depending on the urgency or project length. When expiration has passed and a project is left incomplete, a notification is sent to the overhead manager to indicate who is not completing their projects. This recommendation should keep center supervisors accountable, will communicate necessities to the productivity of each center, and should keep each center consistent in executing these projects.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our second recommendation now, which is have a mandatory monthly meeting at each facility. While this probably will solve different issues that the company is experiencing right now, the main thing to help is to maintain culture, as well as give the employees a chance to have some team building time and to voice their opinions. The culture of Coca-Cola Consolidated is to glorify God in all that they do, but it's also to maintain satisfaction in employees and their customers. This would give them a chance to maintain employee satisfaction, which will in turn move to their customers. Two of their goals that we found on their website are build personal and trusting relationships and be committed to teamwork. These meetings would definitely create teamwork and build trusting relationships in between the employees and the management. It would just give the employees a chance to actually see their supervisors and their managers and get to know them a little bit better so they actually trust them. At this time, Coca-Cola Consolidated doesn't have any type of incentive program for their employees when they come up with good ideas. So in my opinion, I don't really want to share an idea with someone if I'm not going to get a reward for it. And I feel like a lot of millennials probably feel that way in companies as well. So this would definitely encourage them to give their ideas if their supervisors and managers are actually interested in it. But I do think that it would be a good idea for them to give some type of incentive, whether it's a cash bonus or, as Jonathan mentioned previously, they do have partners with certain football teams. So if they could give out football tickets or just something small like that, I think that their employees would be more giving in these meetings. All right, so we're going to move on to our third recommendation, which is to create an incentive program that no one can resist, even millennials. This is a 3-step process. The first one is scholarship funds, tuition reimbursement, and then incentive points. So scholarship funds. To be eligible for this, you must be an employee or the child of an employee. These will be given out once a year. Most companies typically like to do this around the beginning of their fiscal year, and they would need to set aside around $5,000 for the budget. Amounts awarded will range anywhere from $500 to $2,500, and there will be 5 recipients. Obviously, the company can change this if they would like, but we just felt like 5 was a good number for this. The company will need to pick a committee that will go over the applications whenever the deadline has come. This does need to be based on financial need, academic grades, and community involvement. We feel that community involvement is really important because this is important to the company. So they are finding someone to give those scholarships to that have the same values as their company. The second one is tuition reimbursement. This will be for only corporate employees. The thought process behind that is it's helping corporate employees move up in the corporate ladder. This will be up to a maximum of $5,250 per calendar year. The employee must receive a grade of a B or better for undergraduate or graduate courses, as long as it pertains to the job. The good thing about this as well is it is for undergraduate and graduate students, whereas the scholarship funds are for only undergraduates. Another thing that's really important about this that's actually not on the slides is that the course does have to be completed before the company will reimburse you. This just saves the company money, so they're not just shelling out money before the course has actually been completed. And lastly, employee must enter into an agreement to remain employed for X amount of years. Typically companies want their employees to be gaining a degree that is for something in their company, such as accounting. They want you to be doing something at school that will help you in that field. So the agreement will not only help keep them, but it'll help them grow within the company. X amount of years can be changed based on what the company wants. Other companies typically do anywhere from 1 to 5 years, and if the employee quits or is fired, then the employee has to pay the money back. The last one is incentive points. While this does sound small and silly, it is actually a great incentive for employees across the board. This will be available to all employees from facility distribution all the way up until corporate. However, there will have to be different versions of this because distribution employees can get it based on production. However, people at corporate will have to have different standards. They will also get points for manager recommendation or customer recommendations. If a stalker goes and stalks something at Walmart and Walmart thinks they're amazing, they would get incentive 5 points for that. Once an individual receives a certain amount, my company specifically, if we receive 4,000 incentive 5 points, then we can request 4 hours of paid time off. So once they receive a certain amount of points, then they can redeem it for time off. This is really important to millennials especially if they're not given time off right at the beginning. This could still help them so they can get a little bit of time off at a time. Or Coca-Cola Consolidated does have partnerships with a lot of football teams. They could offer tickets to the games or things like that.